Hello, everybody, and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am TheOutbackAl.
I'm Yin&Jung.
I'm NV Jitters.
I'm CheerandCosplay.
And I'm Kozi.
And we're back with more stuff that doesn't particularly have a theme other than we just want to watch it. Hey, you know what's really great to watch? Pacific Rim. Have you seen it? You should have if you're here.
This is the first time I've ever seen it, and it's kind of fitting since it's the 10-year anniversary, and all I gotta say is, this is the best live-action anime movie that's ever been made.
Goddamn right it is.
Pretty much.
Anyone else's first time?
I saw this years
Yeah.
ago.
Oh, well, let's hear about the first-timers, though. What were your thoughts?
My thoughts is the second best live-action anime movie. I don't think it's top Speed Racer, but
Speed Racer is pretty fun.
It's hard to top.
I think the one thing they
Speed
have in
Racer
common
is definitely a more fun movie in terms of its absurdity, but in terms of, I feel like only Guillermo del Toro can make the movie as genuine and as heartfelt as it came out, because it is pure anime in live action, but it still has heart. It's not like a soulish cash grab.
I feel like you're discounting Speed Racer's heart there for a minute, which I will not take. But
I didn't say it was heartless, but
I think this one is crazy good fun, and yeah, I saw this one in theaters back when it came out, and I was me, my brother, his friend, we all went there. It was in the middle of the day, so there was almost nobody there, so it was just us, and we were just geeking out, like right at the very end.
Yeah.
They go up into space and cut a dragon in half, and I was just
anime.
we all just had to stop and look at each other. Is this actually happening? Is this for real? Oh my god! Such a good time. How about you? When was the first time you saw this?
I definitely saw it years after it came out. When did it come out again?
2013.
Yeah, no. I saw it more during college. It was probably 2015, 2016. But I really liked it when I saw it. I don't even remember the reason I watched it.
You need a reason?
I don't remember what prompted me to watch it, but I remember really liking it. I have a little knit doll of Charlie Day's kid. What's his name?
Oh, fucking not Newt.
Newt. I have a little plushie of him. It's cute.
it's Newton.
Oh, right, Newton.
Newton.
Yeah.
Because I looked it up because it was like, oh, Newt is short for Newton. Oh, is the little girl's name from Aliens also Newton? And I looked it up. No, her name is Rebecca.
That's
Her parents are cowards. Newt is the coolest name.
I don't know. Stacker Pentecost ain't too bad.
I also saw this in theaters when it came out.
Yeah?
I remember it being a lot more, cool as in, the edgy way. And it kind of comes off as corny now.
I never got cool in an edgy way. I felt like it always sort of had that, kind of this is ridiculous, but it's so awesome you don't care that it's ridiculous kind of thing. Kind of like how it has to be with, some Batman movies.
Well, it's edgy in the sense of, again, it's like an anime where you have a hotshot anime protagonist who has a tragedy that humbles him down to earth, and he becomes an outcast, but then he rejoins a motley crew of resistance fighters to try and take down the big bad, which in this case is a big giant-ass kaiju.
It's a pretty big bad.
They come from a giant-ass hive mind, and there's, weird characters that don't have a lot of personality, but, they have, quirks that, get along, and, they come together with the power of friendship at the end to defeat the enemies.
I'm sorry, are you
So Attack on Titan.
The supporting cast doesn't have personality? Did we watch the same movie?
Well, okay, let me rephrase that. Stacker Pentecost, the main guy, and Mako, sure. Newt? And Newt is basically just his character from It's Sunny in Philadelphia.
That is actually how he got the job.
Yeah. The other scientist, he was cool. I liked him, but he was, the analytical smarty guy. And then you have the typical, bully character that, comes around at the end. And
what about Hannibal Chow? Ron Perlman. You weren't getting personality out of him? It's Ron Perlman.
No, let me rephrase that. You get personality.
You're rephrasing this a lot.
It's just there's not much to him, yeah. It's just Ron Perlman.
I mean, I feel like all the characters are just kind of archetypes in a little one note.
Yeah.
But they're fun archetypes,
Yeah, I didn't say they were bad. I'm just they're not.
Yeah, they're
you know,
not deep or anything.
Okie dokie.
I really enjoyed this movie a lot. I liked it a lot. Like I didn't say I didn't like it. I was more impressed by just the craftsmanship, because like the CGI still looks really good 10 years removed, and more impressively, it's just how all the stuff in the Jaegers were like practically practical. Like they were on giant ass rigs from what I saw. Like Guillermo del Toro wanted them to be as practical as possible.
Oh yeah, apparently it was torture filming those scenes, and apparently the only person who didn't like have, I don't want to say a breakdown, but like was like, at the end of a long shooting day of that, was like still kind of like feeling up to doing stuff, was the
Mako.
actress playing Mako. Yeah. Apparently she just went to a happy place the whole time. She's like, she never complained. I asked Rinko her secret, and she said, I think of gummy bears and flowers. And now Guillermo del Toro tries to do that in his own life. Think of gummy bears and flowers. No, yeah. I don't know. I don't think we have to talk too much about plot. This has been out for a while, and it's giant there's giant monsters that came out of the Pacific. We built giant robots, and now it just fight. Yeah. What more do you need? You don't need more. This is exactly what you wanted.
I mean, I will say, like, as an absurdist concept goes, I was willing to buy a lot, and I do buy a lot. The one thing that I don't get is, I'm sorry, what kind of smoking drugs were government leaders on where they thought a wall, not like a wall mounted with machine guns or laser grids, but just a regular ass wall, would keep the kaijus out as compared to giant fighting robots?
I mean, I think it's probably just like social commentary.
Rules of vampires apply, so they have to get permission to come in if there's a wall.
That guy didn't have permission when he broke through the wall in Australia.
Like, that was the one thing that was the one thing I questioned in the movie. It's like, okay, you mean to tell me you're just going to have a regular ass wall to try and hold off these giant monsters? And it's like, oh darn, steel, my one weakness. I can't jump over it or pass through it. I guess I gotta go sit out beside the wall for all of eternity.
It's I don't know. It doesn't really matter. That plot point lasts for 2 minutes, quite frankly.
I mean, it would make more sense for them to be trying to figure out a different way to fight than the Jaegers, because every single fight we watched, the Jaegers kind of got fucked.
Yeah, I mean, they did say that they had a couple years worth of, like, really good fighting, but of course we're only going to see the ones where, like, the actual, like, deeper plot's going to happen, where they fail, or where this happens, or where that happens, or these fights at the end, but, like, apparently before they got taken down at the beginning of the movie, Riley and his brother were actually, had, like, 5 kills or something already. The Australian guys had, like, 10 kills or something. They apparently were very good at this. It's just you occasionally have that moment where, we were not prepared for this particular encounter kind of thing. But then you got your power-ups or something, or you take your time to figure yourself out.
I'm purely talking in terms of damages. The cost to rebuild the robot, the cost to the cities, lives lost, like, there's no way that was effective enough.
Honestly, the most ridiculous element of the entire movie is not even the wall, it's not the giant robots, it's just that every country in the world agreed to do something together.
Yeah.
And did it in a year.
Couldn't buy that.
No.
Oh, you gotta ignore real world politics and political stuff.
Yeah, this is clearly, as soon as they said that in the opening, I was like, well, this is a fantasy. So, that might have been the perfect thing to do, because when you set everybody's, like, suspension of disbelief so high just with that one line, people will believe anything. So, yeah, why not giant wall? Why not giant robot? Why not do this? Why not do that?
Why are they all still living on the coast?
I mean, there's a number of different... You could ask the exact same thing of everyone who lives in Florida and is constantly pounded by hurricanes. It's... There can be a whole slew of reasons. I think they do mention something along...
I feel like a giant monster crawling out of the sea is a bit different than a hurricane.
Is it?
And it's like, I don't think everyone could be displaced is the thing. Like,
Probably not. I do.
There's just too many people living there.
I remember them mentioning like one line about they were gonna like try to bring people inland, and other people were like, "What with all the rich people? Where are we gonna go?" Kind of thing. So it might like. I don't know. To my understanding, from like a food, resources, economics, all that sort of stuff, I think the majority of cities are like along some sort of coastline or have access to some sort of large body of water. And that's for fishing, economics, transportation. There's like a whole slew of reasons why we constantly put our settlements near water. And like, there's probably had the entire West Coast moved to the desert, I don't think the desert could have supported them. Like, simply from a resource standpoint.
I mean, considering that the biggest city in the U.S., New York, is, basically a giant-ass island or collection of islands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you couldn't
but
support...
it wasn't happening on that side.
No, it's not, but you couldn't support probably, like, the entire population of, say, Los Angeles in Phoenix. I don't think.
You definitely could.
I don't know about that.
Especially
we have to really look into
with
logistics.
Like, their advanced technology. They 100% could.
Advanced technology for blowing stuff up, not necessarily for, like, making sure everyone's got resources that they need. Come on. It has to be somewhat realistic.
But anyway, giant-ass kaiju tearing up cities and fighting them with giant mechs.
Yeah, fantastic. Beautiful. Everything about this. Love the fights. Love the designs of the robots are simple and clean, but also very like unique and distinct. I'm not going to mistake them for any other kind of robot. The kaijus themselves, although like we've seen a lot of their elements other places, they all look unique and distinct for themselves. Like this movie feels like, despite the fact that it's building on like half a century or more than half a century, almost a century at this point of kaiju and giant robot media, feels wholly its own, and I love that.
It's basically what George Lucas did with Star Wars, Guillermo del Toro did with, stuff like, mecha and kaiju and stuff like that. He took inspiration from it to create his own thing.
And finally, Shinji's not a pussy.
You were talking about that scene where Gypsy Danger finally pulls out the sword. I have to admit, I did kind of go, holy shit, at that moment. Like, internally, I was like, damn, that is badass.
And then you stop for a second, and you're like, why weren't they using that the whole time?
Yeah, and all the, like, blasters that it has. Why do they just punch?
Okay, the blaster, you do run out of shots eventually.
Like,
right.
That one I kind of get, but you don't run out of sword.
No.
Like, that thing should have been popped out.
Are we talking about the
second
sword or the freighter they used in the end fight?
As cool as it was, the sword would have been more effective than the freighter. Admittedly, very fun to use a giant ship as a baseball bat. Just awesome.
And speaking
James
of awesome,
Cameron is like rolling over in his sleep, I guess, because he's not dead. He's almost there, though.
James Cameron wishes he could. He would have stuffed
James
them full of
Cameron
blue people.
would never have done that. He has extensively studied boat physics.
Yeah.
And speaking of awesome, was this the movie on top of, Heimdall from the Marvel Universe? Was this the movie that kind of put Idris Elba on the map?
Idris Elba's already on the map.
No.
He's Idris Elba.
Like, even more now, though.
In America, maybe, but he's had, like, a long career on the BBC and a number of other things. He already had his own TV show at that point, I think. Plus, he was on The Wire.
Thor 2010? 2011?
2010, I think. Yeah.
2011, but yeah.
No, Captain America was 2011. And then Avengers was 2012.
So was Thor.
It was the first time they did a double feature, wasn't it?
Yep.
Iron Man was 2010, right. Okay.
But Idris Elba was awesome in the movie. Like, I totally buyed him as, the military leader and, the badass former pilot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, they originally wanted Tom Cruise for the part.
What?
I could not
I'm
see.
so glad.
I know. Like, there's occasionally you see him pop up because he's such a popular actor. You see him pop up on like the occasional behind the scenes. Like, here's the casting we wanted. Like, he was originally supposed to be Iron Man. He was originally supposed to be Ben Stiller's character in Tropic Thunder. Like, there's a number of things with him where it's like he just couldn't do it, or he didn't want to do it, or blah blah blah. But yeah, that would have been a very different movie and probably not as good.
Yeah.
Well, I
Because
mean,
I'm trying to think, what would he have been doing?
Tom Cruise is Maverick. He's not. I don't think he could pull off this role.
Yeah, no.
Tom Cruise can play one role, and that's Tom Cruise.
I think he might have been doing maybe Edge of Tomorrow while this was happening. So
that would explain it.
I'd much rather have Tom Cruise in Edge of Tomorrow than have him here.
Yeah. When Newton first appeared, Kozi was like, "Who is that?"
It's
And
Charlie.
I Googled it. I'm like, "It's Charlie Day?" And she's very bad with actors, so she's like, "Okay, what is he from?" I'm like, Sunny, I think.
Yeah, it's
Always
Charlie.
Sunny. She's like, "Oh yeah."
It's Charlie
And so
doing Charlie work.
I've never seen Always
Well,
Sunny.
I was just like, once Cece was like, Always Sunny, I'm like, oh, yeah, you know what? He is giving, like, Rat King vibes right now.
Yeah.
Well,
She
he was
pulled up the
also.
conspiracy board meme.
Yeah.
Like that
he
guy.
was-
Pepe
And
Sylvia.
then he did when he did the mind thingy with the
The Drift.
thingy.
Yeah.
The drift
just,
with the kaiju. brain.
Yeah. When he did that and then he came out looking like he'd been through the garbage disposal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, now do you recognize him? Because he looked exactly like the conspiracy board meme. She looked it up, and apparently Guillermo del Toro casted him specifically because of that scene in Always Sunny.
It was the
Like,
scene
we
where he
need-
talked about Charlie work, where he's like holding a stick talking about how he kills rats. Like
Yeah,
that's
the Rat King episode.
Yeah.
I buy that.
He's like, we need exactly this energy.
Yeah, and then
Just pure chaos.
and then for funsies, they had a trial episode in It's Always Sunny, and Guillermo del Toro plays as a star witness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
and
fun.
I read something about Ron Perlman also being cast because of Charlie, but I don't remember what that was off the top of my head.
I mean, Ron Perlman's been in a number of Guillermo del Toro
yeah,
movies.
I thought they're just buddies.
Yeah. I mean, he was Hellboy, he was in Blade 2. I'm trying to think of other ones before. I don't know. I think they're just buddies, but like I know the other Charlie in this, Charlie Hunnam, the main character Riley, he worked with Ron Perlman on Sons of Anarchy, so that might have been another little connection they had there. A lot of connections to FX.
Yeah.
It's weird, but yeah. So I'm trying to think here. Which one was you guys' favorite monster, and which one was you guys' favorite robot?
I mean, I gotta be biased and say Gypsy Danger is my favorite Jaeger. As far as Kaiju, I'd probably say the one that either the one where Mako and Riley first fought in the ocean, or the one that they, fought through the city and cut in half in the air with the sword.
the pregnant one?
I liked the baby.
Yeah.
I think my one complaint, and I kind of know why they did this, but I think my one complaint is that we didn't get to see a whole lot of the other two Jaegers that they had. The one from China and the one from Russia. The one with the 3 arms, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I
that
need
one's
more
cool.
of this.
I want to know how the drift works with 3 people.
One guy controls the arm in the back, and the 2 other guys control the 2 other arms. I'm like, if they're controlling like one half of them is like a leg and an arm, one of them is a leg and an arm. The other guy could have been 2 arms. That could have been cool. Could have gone full.
That's
Goro.
actually a good.
Okay,
that's
okay,
actually.
okay. I actually have a question, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're only controlling one half, why does your partner also have to do the movement with you?
Because you're linked mentally. So you're both doing it.
But you're not. You're both controlling separate halves, so you're not actually linked.
Physically, you're both controlling one separate half, but mentally, you're connected through the neural pathways in the suits.
One
That's
brain.
why you can see each other's memories and into their mind.
I just don't think he thought it out.
I don't believe that there wasn't an easier way to control these guys.
Was it
Could
cool?
have used You could have used like a PlayStation controller.
Okay, I feel like we
Clearly.
know why not to do that now.
Oh.
I don't think we would have won the war with the Kaijus had we been using Logitech controllers.
So actually, a lot of people in the Navy have come out and said they do control a lot of their submersibles with the Logitech controller that was on the Titan.
Yes,
Well,
but would
there
you
was a
control
lot
a
of-
giant
Really
There was
just
a lot
the
of-
reckless disregard for safety.
Here's the question, though. What are they piloting that with?
A submersible.
Is
so
it a manned
it only goes up
submersible?
and down.
A manned one, or like a drone?
Both.
See, the drone, absolutely, go for it. As far as
But,
a
like-
manned one, how far down does it go? What all does it do? Is there the possibility that you're going to get vaporized if this thing doesn't work properly?
Well, you see, the Army and the Navy and all that, they have standards and regulations.
Hmm. You mean things that the
The
private
joystick
sector
is a
should probably
joystick.
have?
I mean,
Yeah. So, like, all they really need is that joystick functionality because, again, a submersible can only go, like, up and down.
Hmm.
Anyways, we didn't really get to see a lot of the kaiju I like the most, but it's Raiju. That was the one that was, like, swimming around in the shadows.
oh, that's Pikachu's evolution.
Was that the crocodile-y one, or the one that looked like an underwater
Yeah.
bull? Yeah, the crocodile you don't get to see very much, do you?
But when he opens his head, it's all fluorescent purple. He's so cute.
I don't know if cute's the word I would use to describe it, but he's definitely cool.
He's cute. He's cute.
Well, here's a fun question to ask everybody. I was thinking this as I was watching the movie. What if we had to be Jaeger pilots? What if we had to link with each other? So
Dead.
Kozi and Cece, you would
Immediately
link.
dead.
You, Kozi and Cece, you would link with each other. Al and Yin, you would link with each other. Maybe
Would we, though?
me and Chibs would link with each other.
I think there's a lot of assumptions going on around here.
Well, I'm just
Yeah, what if I
spitballing,
don't
but
wanna
you know,
link with
if
Kozi? Her childhood sucked. I don't want to see it.
Wow.
I think realistically, we all need to admit this to ourselves every now and then. We're going to a bunker if we're in this movie.
Yeah, we're
Or
dead.
we're going to try to run to find a bunker.
I'll try to fuck the kaiju, see if that works.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, we've all seen the Pokemon videos. We know.
well, no, you just no. You link
Yes,
with
yes,
them
yes,
like
yes.
newts.
That comes back.
Have you guys seen the second movie?
I have.
I heard it wasn't that good.
It
We looked up the premise and it seems awful.
It is what it is. It's fun still. It's not this movie. Like, objectively, I'm going to say it's not as good. But,
And apparently
still
there
fun.
was a Netflix show too.
yeah, it was kind of an anime.
An animated series.
I have not watched that one yet, though. This has gotten me reinterested again in it, so maybe I will. Not
Al?
entirely sure yet. What's up?
I need you to look in the chat and look at
Yeah,
that
I see
picture and tell
him.
me that's not adorable.
That's not adorable.
You're
I
a
told
lying
you.
liar.
I am not a lying liar. I tell nothing but truths on this.
They're so cute.
Ed, I hate to admit this. I need to go back and rectify this in the future, but this was my first ever Guillermo del Toro movie.
Really? That is surprising.
Yeah, I've never seen the Hellboy movies because I wasn't allowed to watch them when I was growing up, and I haven't seen.
Pan's Labyrinth?
He did Pan's Labyrinth. Yeah, I
Blade?
didn't see that.
You didn't see Shape of Water?
I know what it's about.
Yeah, that's like Cece's favorite movie, man. We all know why.
I heard the Pinocchio movie he made last year was good.
Also has Ron Perlman. Trying to think here. I've seen saw Blade 2, saw Hellboy, Pan's Labyrinth, Hellboy 2, Pacific Rim, Crimson Peak, Shape of Water. I just haven't seen his two most recent ones.
Crimson Peak is fucking weird.
It is.
That's an interesting one.
I think it suffered mostly from, like, it was being marketed as a horror movie, and it's really not.
Yeah, it's like
Maybe like a
gothic
suspense.
horror.
like, I think she almost describes it perfectly in the beginning of the movie. She's like writing a story and she's trying to sell it to a publisher. The publisher's like, I don't get it. It's not scary. Well, it's not a ghost story. It's a story with a ghost in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, then you really shouldn't have marketed this movie as a ghost movie. Troll Hunters I've seen that he's done, which is not my favorite, but decent. Not a bad show.
What's Nightmare Alley?
I remember that coming out, but I don't remember it that well.
I think he made like a Netflix show last year where it was like based on like a series of like horror shorts or something like that.
Oh,
I forget what it was called.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Like,
It was like
things
Cavalcade
to...
of or
Hang on.
Cabinet of Curiosities.
Wait, so Envy, have you seen any of the Blade series?
Nope.
You should watch the Blade series.
I'll watch the first two. I heard 3 was bad.
It's not great.
Another movie
But-
Ryan Reynolds regrets being in.
But it was the role that introduced him to Deadpool.
Yeah.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, that's what I'm thinking of.
Oh.
He was a producer on that when he worked on the story.
That's sad though, because that series flopped so hard.
Well, there was one that he made last year called Cabinet of Curiosities, which he produced and he narrated it over,
Mhm.
so I heard that one was decent.
Hold on, there's a Don't Be Afraid of the Dark movie?
Yeah.
I did not know about this. My goodness. Well, that's good to know for later. I'm trying to think what else to talk about here. It's like... I don't feel like there's much to critique here. It's
It
kind of
knew
the
what it was,
thing.
it knew what its premise was, and it succeeded.
Delivered.
I'm going to say this. I think that... Because I feel like there's been the occasional try to do something like this, like giant robots would do this or do that. And I'm really glad that Del Toro had his hands on this and not somebody else, because I could have easily seen this, especially like in 2013 or 2012, whenever they were like probably filming this. I could have easily seen this being taken on as like a Michael Bay type project. And I am so glad it wasn't that. This could have turned into Battleship.
Well, I mean, considering that this movie came out in between 2 Transformers movies, the third and the fourth ones,
Yeah.
it just goes to show you just...
Yeah, could have been a very different thing, and I'm really glad it wasn't.
But yeah, I'm glad I finally saw it. I've been meaning to watch it. It's just been on my forever watch to list for a while, and yeah, I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah, good movie.
Although I know that it was a funny gag for the end of the movie, but there's no way Ron Perlman should have survived the end of that movie.
Ron Perlman can survive anything. Come on,
He
now.
literally got bit by that baby and swallowed whole, and yet he
Yeah.
came out without a
Swallowed
scratch.
whole. Wasn't in
It
half.
didn't. Yeah. Although we saw it trying to chew on him, we're just gonna assume it's a baby and didn't have any teeth.
Yeah, it was gumming him at worst. Then he clawed his way out looking for his shoe.
It's so funny, like his shoe was the one thing I focused on the entire time. I'm like, look at his shoes, they're gold plated.
Guy knows what he's about.
Yep.
Trying to see here what other... Because he co-wrote this with Travis Beacham. Done a couple other things. It's like before this he did like a Clash of the Titans. I'm not the biggest fan of that personally, but it was okay.
Is that the football movie?
Let's remember the Titans.
Remember.
Yeah, not the football movie. The one with the dude from Avatar. As, was it Perseus?
I think he fights
Yeah.
the gods at home.
You just gotta say Liam Neeson as Zeus.
Yeah, Liam Neeson's just, release the Kraken!
That's all I remember. I've never seen the movie, but I just know that was in every trailer. Release
You
the
can probably
Kraken.
skip it.
Oh, that shit.
Yeah. It wasn't as bad as the
Yeah.
sequel.
And
There
he
was a
was
sequel?
also,
Wrath of the
And you
Titans.
forget-
Don't watch it.
and also, let's not forget too that he's really good friends with Hideo Kojima because he was gonna make a Silent Hill game with Hideo Kojima, but they canceled it, and then he appeared in Death Stranding in a cameo role.
See, I would watch a Del Toro Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Well,
That could
no,
be
it was a
fun.
video game, so like they were gonna.
Oh,
he was gonna
make a
write.
video game with him. God damn.
Yeah. yeah, back in the day, Guillermo del Toro and Hideo Kojima, they were going to make a video game where Kojima would produce and direct it, and Guillermo del Toro was going to write it. But Konami canceled it because Konami's a bunch of assholes. So,
well, he did write the 2008 game Hellboy: The Science of Evil. He was the director of PT.
Yeah, that was the playable trailer teaser for the for the Silent Hill game that was never made.
Oh, okay, so we kind of got it.
Yeah.
The little kid that played Mako in the flashbacks, she was embarrassed that she couldn't pronounce his name, so he gave her permission to call him Totoro-san.
Yeah.
I think that's adorable, and that's all I can think about every time I see his picture.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Apparently he was a co-writer for the Hobbit movies.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here we go. Creative consultant for Megamind.
Oh.
I already like this guy, and he just bumped. He also was a special effects consultant for Edge of Tomorrow. Or, I guess he helped with the creature designs.
There you go.
You know what? This guy got a little hand in everything I like, a little bit.
That's another movie I need to watch, because I heard it's secretly a brilliant film.
We watched it for the channel.
Megamind.
Oh, Megamind.
Megamind?
Megamind is so good.
Yeah.
And it only gets better.
Of the list.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if anybody else has anything to add.
Yeah, no. Solid movie. I would definitely watch it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Except I guess I didn't want to enjoy it because of all those times Kozi was like, do you like mecha movies as long as they're live action? I'm like, I literally can't name any. And she was like, Pacific Rim. I was like, I haven't seen that. And I did like it, so I guess you were right. But
yeah,
I'll take the fuck out.
Name another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's another live action mecha movie?
Pacific Rim Uprising.
You liked
It's a
Edge
hard
of Tomorrow.
sell.
It was okay.
Edge of Tomorrow's not really a mecha movie.
It's about as mecha as Aliens.
They fight in the mechas.
They're exoskeletons. I don't know. I don't think I count that
Like,
one.
how big does it have to be considered a mecha?
Bigger than a person.
No problem.
That's
The exoskeletons were bigger than a person.
Okay,
Yeah,
there is a big difference. Hang on. There is a big difference between a giant robot and a power armor.
Yeah, because then you have to say, is like Iron Man a mecha?
Iron Man's not a mecha. The Hulkbuster, arguably a mecha.
Okay.
But Iron Man himself, no. That's power armor.
I mean, you could technically... these aren't specifically mecha movies, but they have mechas in them. Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie.
But there you go. Yeah, absolutely.
You watched Ready Player One?
No.
You would like that.
I heard it was bad.
It was
exactly why
okay.
you would like it.
It was a very okay movie.
Yes, it was very.
Yeah,
I
but
watched
that's
it.
the kind CC's like, yes, this is the one.
Solid 70%.
As Cece would say, I think we're really going into Patreon content
Yeah, so
right
let's talk about next week. We're going to continue on with more things that we've either talked about on the podcast or just talked about amongst ourselves, recommending to one another here and there, but we never got around to watching them. Next week is one of the recommendations that I've had for a while that I've wanted people to watch. We've occasionally brought it up to other people. It's called The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. It's about a guy who has just really doesn't like his life, and he's constantly narrating about it and all the idiots that he has to deal with on a daily basis. So it's right up my alley.
Fun times.
Yeah. So, come back for that and more of whatever else we decide to do until Halloween happens. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoy this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!